Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading, and today is December 10th, 2024, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Tesla tops $400 a share for the first time in over 2 years, and Apple trades to new all-time record highs. Now looking at today's major economic events, nothing scheduled for the rest of the day, but looking at the market, starting out with the Forex symbols, the Canadian dollar trades to new lows, yearly lows, versus the US dollar, finally breaking that 141. And looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ both take a retracement. Looking at commodities, mostly unchanged. And as we shift over to the stocks, Microsoft looking like it's breaking out from that upper range. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin remaining unchanged as well. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. First with the Canadian dollar making yearly lows towards the US dollar, pushing that 141.80-ish level. And we're right there. Okay, the question is whether or not we can sustain it, because if we look at a weekly, that we broke out obviously at 138. That's over 300 pips ago. But here, looking at a monthly, that's the one I was looking for. We're right there. I mean, between here and 148, that's where we're at. Now, looking historically, we've been even higher, 161, and that was in 2002. That's a long time ago, 22, 23 years ago already. So this is really has that potential to go back there if for two things. One, there's more tariffs put on the Canadian market on imported goods into the United States. And two, whether or not the price of oil, which adds a lot of weight to the Canadian economy, is going to continue being flatline at $60-ish. So this is two very, very important factors for the Canadian dollar. Now jumping into the Australian dollar, also on its bottom share, but this is very interesting. I've spoken about this maybe a million times. The Turkish Lira, the Turkish Lira, the Turkish Lira making all-time record lows, 34.79. And I said if it clears 30, it's going to go to 35. Now if it clears 35, it may still go to 40. Let's take a look at a weekly chart, and that just hold it. Just short the Turkish Lira and just hold. It's just so simple. Now, looking at the commodities, nothing really doing. Let's take a look at crude oil, just hanging out at $68, trading in a very tight range. Natural gas also just tapering off. And the gold is just really just sidelining at 2660-ish level. Now, where is the action happening? The U.S. markets. Let's start with it. Talking about the NASDAQ hitting all-time record highs and then just retracing just below it. And looking at the Dow Jones off of its record highs as well. And this is like almost a setup for a Christmas rally just ahead of it. So just something to keep at the back of your mind. Now looking at the individual stocks. Two stocks. I'm going to focus on two major stocks that made all-time record yearly highs and record highs. So first, let's take a look at Apple pushing to 246. Remember that other day we pushed to 240, 242, but yesterday just took it out on the upside. Big move for Apple. Now looking also at Microsoft pushing above its resistance level at 440. Now we're only about 20-something points from our all-time record highs. This is major because Microsoft has been slumping for quite some time. Although it was the one that took us higher initially, it has been slumping. And lastly, looking at Tesla as it pushed and cleared $400 a share. That's big. It didn't hold it, but it did clear it yesterday. So this is something of a very, very exciting piece of news because it's another thing that we can trade, and it's another asset that's there. Now, the banks all on their highs. Goldman Sachs also trading to its all-time record highs. Netflix just below of its record highs, just took some money off the table there. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Also, just a small gap down yesterday, but still trading in a range. I mean, it's really just doing that right ahead of our major holiday season. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin, pretty much unchanged at 94, trading in a very tight range over the last couple of days. Let's see if it'll give it another push before the year end. That's it for today. Thank you for joining the Daily Review. We'll see you here tomorrow.